class, I usually ask, hey, questions on anything we're doing. I suppose I haven't done that with you all. Uh, you guys have questions on anything we're working on? No big freak out looks there. All right. And I am sharing my screen now. You guys, can you see that? Yeah, a couple head nods. Thanks, folks. I appreciate that. So let's see. Um, if we go to the classwork tab, I'll hide this and get that out of the way. Last week, this motion mapper thing, I got a couple of folks that mentioned that they ended up, it was kind of frustrating to start off with, but then it actually is kind of fun. Yeah. Um, you might think fun might be exaggerating the use of the word, but but it's it's at least not as painful as some other schoolwork. We can maybe hopefully agree with that. Um, there's nothing really to turn in for that, but it's just kind of a thing to kind of get used to how some of that stuff works. Pardon me. Um, this Google form on identifying constant and changing velocities, where there were different examples provided and then questions for you, that seemed to go okay as I check scores there. So that's good. The assignment for today is somewhat similar to this constant and changing velocities sheet. Um, it's just kind of the slight differences is that it'll talk about some changes as things go on. So as you move through this, you'll see some slightly different things going. When it gets towards the end, it starts asking about what graphs would look like if a bus is going at a constant velocity or if a bus is speeding up or slowing down. And that will actually help with our assignment, our end of unit assessment that starts tomorrow. So we're not doing like tests. That seems kind of silly at this with this setup, right? I mean, uh, I don't, it just seems awkward. So we're not going to do any big tests or big quizzes. It's all just practice and getting ready for stuff. Oops. So this thing that asks us about the different graphs and what a graph might look like if a bus is speeding up or slowing down or going at a constant velocity will set you up for another assignment, our end of unit assignment. Let's see. Um, I don't have it quite ready for you. I've made some edits to it. Oh, come on, I'm just trying to slide that in. There we go. Okay, let's see. It's not showing me what I'm showing you. Do you see this Husky area rapid transit thing? Yeah, thumbs up. Thanks, folks. Um, So what we're going to do over the after today is kind of wrapping up the other bit of practice, but I thought it's worth spending a couple of minutes getting stuff set up for this. Um, so Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, each day you'll be completing a different section of this. So the basic idea is that you'll excuse me, I got something in my throat. I need to clear it. I know, Emily, such a rough one. Good Lord. Okay, there it is. Sorry about that. This will be kind of a day by day sort of a thing. And the first thing that you're going to end up doing is using Google Maps to find a few places to stop, as if you're designing a bus route. So not a school bus, but like a metro bus. So stop at places of interest, stop at places where people would need a ride to. So that might mean grocery stores, the mall, the doctor's office, and then regions with housing or homes and things like that. Um, and that will be simply just using Google Maps. You'll be able just to go um, Maps, Google, whoopsies. Ooh, there we go. Um, so you'll be able just to go to Google Maps, and that's where we'll get pretty much all of our data, and that's how we'll create our maps. So let's say let's see, um, we'll go Cub. Come on now. So you'll just use Google Maps to come up with a couple of stops, and Google Maps will tell us how to collect data, or Google Maps, pardon me, will give us our data. Um, and it seems like Google Maps might not be a good thing to do live, so I'm not going to do that. It's going really slow. Um, so I have a video that'll show you when it's time for that, and I think that'll make sense. It's pre-recorded, and you'll be able to follow it. But using Google Maps, you'll find a few stops. You'll get the distance from one stop to the next, the time it takes you to travel from one stop to the next. And using Google Maps, you'll just get a, a map with bus stop routes on it. Um, the activity is you choosing which stops would be relevant for this area, and then you'll have a set of a data table that you'll produce. And like day one will be pretty much just that set, and then you'll be done, which is a pretty reasonable amount to get done in one day. So emphasizing right now in our time that this project is not a get it all done in 20 minutes sort of a deal, or get it all done in one day, because that'd be a killer. We're going to just, in day one, starting tomorrow, I'm just kind of prepping you for it. Day one, you'll just go through and you'll figure out what stops you want to make, and you'll create that data table. That data table will give you a position versus time graph. So that's way down. Bloop, 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 bloop. That position, or that data table, will give you a graph like this, and you'll just copy paste that position time graph here. The more thought requirement sort of stuff, the thing that'll take a little bit more time. Oops, I don't mean to move that. I mean to scroll down pages. Um, we'll be creating the velocity versus time graph. So for that, you'll have to go through and you'll have to calculate the velocity of the bus at each of those stops. So from Google Maps, you'll know the time it takes to go from one stop to the next. You'll know the distance from Google Maps, and it's just a flat out reading. It just tells you. Um, so you'll know the distance and you know the time between stops, and from that you can calculate velocity. And then we'll just use glorious, come on, uh, um, Google Slides sort of tools to draw lines that will show us what the velocity is at whatever spot we're at. So it'll end up being uh, a little bit time consuming for figuring out how you're going to get those arrows in there, or pardon me, these lines for this velocity graph. But it's not going to be killer. It'll just take a little bit of time to get things set up and to go through and do it. And if we go through and we just try to do one chunk each day, we'll be fine. This velocity graph will be just about the last part of it. The first part, like I said, and this will all be clarified in the assignment itself. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a heads up that it's coming. The first part will be find your route, create a map with Google Maps, collect your data. Uh, Second part will be going through and getting ready to do these calculations for each stop. So you'll have your change in position. Remember that triangle is delta. So change in position for stop one to stop two, change in time, stop one to stop two, and then you'll put those numbers in here. Um, you put those numbers in here, you'll have an answer there. So stop one to stop two, done. And then you just move to the next slide. Stop two to stop three, same thing. What's the change in position, change in time? Plug in the numbers here, state your answer there. So that'll take a little bit of time for that, but it won't be, it's definitely stuff that's doable in a day. And that's really what we're shooting for, is just kind of breaking things down into those doable chunks. It's not a do all this stuff in one day. So it's a work that's achievable and doable with some time. All right. Let's see. Come on. If let's see, if we're looking here for the classwork stuff, um, this is how I check to see where we're at and what stuff I have to continue to grade. I believe I got all of the Pivot Interactives labs scored. Um, and this is where so you see what I how I figure out what I need to score. When I go here in Google Classroom, this shows me the stuff that I need to score, these things that are turned in, but have like these two things. Last week you had two worksheets that were not Google Forms, where you were typing in and doing work for velocity calculations or making graphs. Those two things, I have to score all of those. But these other things, that's how I check to see. It looks like I've got one of these to take care of. But all of the Pivot Interactives, that ping pong ball lab, all of those I believe are scored and returned to you. So if you've taken a look at that and your score is something that you would like to improve upon, you surely can go through and rework that. And it's pretty obvious to me when I go to the Pivot Interactive site and I take a look at the class. Um, there's just a green dot. If I'm the last one that's worked on it, there's a green dot, and that just tells me, hey, I've already scored it. I don't need to worry about checking it. If a student worked on it, the green dot changes to yellow. It's like, hey, student did some work here. And so that just tells me I need to go back and take another look. So if you want to do some more work on that Pivot Interactive stuff, you can go back, take a look. No big deal. Have at her. All right. So that is a short rundown from me. I don't really have anything more for you. If you have questions on anything that we've been doing, if you need help with stuff, let me know. You can always email me. You can set up a one-to-one Google meeting appointment. Take a look at stuff. Um, if you want, I'm going to hang out live for a little bit. There are some people that join late that, life happens. We miss our alarms or whatever. So I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes. If you're done and you just want to get to work, hey, you can hang up. I'll take it personally. I will show up at your door in the morning. I'm kidding. If you're done, you can hang up and I'll catch you later. All right. If you want to hang out, we can hang out. Have a good one, folks. See you, folks. Hey, you too. Good luck on your driver's ed thing.